All right, so I happened to be in New York and was speaking with my good friend Tiger over here, who I was lucky enough to hang out with the day that Trump launched around a year and a half ago, something like that. I hadn't heard from him in a while, and funnily enough, the first message that he sent me back was, yo, I just got out of jail. I then proceeded to do a tweet saying, who's down to do some content in New York? And he responded something along the lines of, would you like to interview a felon? Which I was surprised he was the one suggesting and down to do, but here we are doing that today. So we got Tiger, aka not Chase Coleman. I don't know if you want to share your real name or whatever it is as well, it's up to you.
A lot of people know me as Josh because I was doxxed in the end of 2024, but you can call me Josh, you can call me Tiger, whatever.
I mean, Chase Coleman was like a big investor or something. Right?
Yeah, the not Chase Coleman handle is just making fun of Chase Coleman, the hedge fund manager, who I looked up to when I was in TradFi.
Yeah, so I guess for the people who aren't aware of you, like, you know, your lore and stuff like that, you were heavily associated with the, you know, running and kind of managing and supporting the Giga coin that went to what, like an all-time high of like 600, 800 mil, something like that?
1 billion, yeah.
Was it 1 billion in the end? Oh,
Yeah.
I can't, it was so long ago, I can barely like remember. But yeah, that coin was obviously one of the core coins during, like, let's call it the Murad style community holder, you know, meme coins going to like replace the stock market, kind of like meta, right?
Yep.
You know, but prior to that, I remember you telling me, you know, you were obviously in TradFi before that, you were very successful in TradFi. You know, like, how'd you get into that? Like, what was the deal there?
Well, I was only successful until I went to prison for my mistakes that I made in TradFi. And I did my time. You know, I think one of the reasons why, I don't know why I was doxxed, to be completely honest with you, back in the end of 2024, but, you know, part of the dox was also of disclosing the mistakes I made in TradFi and the fact that I was indicted for a securities fraud. It was tough, you know? I mean, it's not fun to be doxxed, but I didn't really care that people knew what I looked like. It's just the way they portrayed me, like, you know, I was the worst human being to ever walk, when, you know, a lot of the people that had something to say about me aren't any better or worse, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, there's a lot of angry incels online that have nothing else better to do, so they start snooping, and I became very popular with Giga. It was, I think, the best performing meme coin in 2024.
Yeah, 100%, one of the biggest.
It was 13 straight months of green.
I remember the monthly candles, the prophecy of whether we would ever see them stop.
Yeah. I had a great time with Giga. I mean, they still have great people. It's honestly one of the best teams I could have probably been a part of. And I think what changed since then, and this is not only isolated to Giga, but I think to just meme coins and crypto in general, you know. And I think specifically with meme coins, back then, people believed that there was going to be this pocket of liquidity that will concentrate itself in the best meme coins, right? Now, since then, what's happened is probably millions of meme coins have emerged across a bunch of chains, and it's basically become a game of liquidity hot potato, for the lack of a better term.
Yeah, a little narrative rotation.
Right. So what happened is that, you know, what Murad famously said is believe in something, and people stopped believing because they came to the conclusion that, and it's not wrong, right? Like, meme coins don't have any intrinsic value, zero, right? Like the only value that they actually have is intangible, meaning like you have to assume that the team and the people that are involved in holding this coin are all going to agree on the thesis, therefore taking the price up, right? I read a tweet the other day, I don't remember who it was from, but it talked about playing the game of meme coins and how there's two different games, right? There's one game where it's like you're playing a liquidity hot potato, or you're hopping from narrative to narrative, and then there's the second game where you believe in something, right? The problem is that 99% of the industry is game number one. And it's very hard to play game two because you have to convince a large enough swath of people to believe exactly what you believe and have the exact same conviction that you have, right? So in 2024, people had more conviction.
Solana was going up.
Solana was going up. Solana was hot. And there also just weren't that many meme coins, right? So
At least not good ones. Like I would say personally, Giga was one of the like better coins in terms of like OG meme and stuff like that compared to like WIF and other things.
Yeah.
It stood for something a little bit more. You had a kind of like the fitness, health. This was actually, if you think about it, it was like looks maxing and that kind of
the original
like,
looks
It was
maxing.
the original looks maxing coin. So it's funny that like now that's being like run back in the form of like Clav and like all this stuff. And also like this entire concept of like movement coins was way more of a thing, right? Whereas I feel like now as like liquidity has shrunk, as we're no longer in a bull market like we were back then, it's just become like a much more PvP game as the remaining participants just get basically sharper and sharper as time goes on, right?
right, I think that there's still liquidity, but the problem is that it's very concentrated on who actually moves that liquidity. And when they choose to move, right, the coin just dies. And that's why you haven't seen the peaks of meme coins reach the peaks that they were reaching in 2024. And before that, like in the 2021 cycle, because like there's the main thing actually is like it's supply exhaustion.
Yeah,
It's just basic economics 101. Like if you just have a bunch of coins, there's only so much money that's going to go into them.
Yeah, I feel like
because most of them are shit anyway.
I feel like supply
Right.
was way more controlled back then, and because we were in a bull run and there was so much money going around, like there were so many more, I would say, like well executing teams. Like it was clear that like people, way more big coins had market makers, like all of that kind of stuff. It was just like executed on a way bigger scale as opposed to now where I feel like it's this like rotating ball of money and it's like a lot more, it's like seemingly more organic in some ways. It's like, it's less people, but they're kind of playing against each other instead of this more like PvE style coin running, meta basically.
Yeah, and like honestly, I'm not very good at the liquidity hot potato game.
Yeah,
I'm
you
really
gotta
not.
be quick. You gotta be sharp. Like
Yeah, but like I'm just like like I have a life. Like I'm not in front of my screen all day, and I just I have a beautiful girlfriend. We love each other. We have a lot of fun together. I want to be with her. I want to do stuff with her. I can't do much now because I have a wrist monitor on until the end of October.
few months left. It's fine.
A few months left. Yeah.
Little house arrest never hurt anyone. It's funny because you're not the first person.
It's not a bad place to be on house arrest.
Yeah.
Like
You're in New York. You got a nice view.
Yeah.
It's funny because you're not the first person that obviously I did stuff with that went to jail, right? Obviously back in the day I was doing stuff with Sue and I spoke to him a lot about his prison time and he even went on plenty of podcasts and interviews and spoke actually surprisingly positively about it. What was your experience like?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's funny because people thought that I was in prison because of crypto when
It was your off-chain crimes, not your on-chain crimes.
I never committed any on-chain crimes. Let that be known. I was in TradFi before crypto. I worked at a hedge fund, then I started my own. And it started off well. I made one very poor mistake. And you can't go to prison because you lost money, but you can go to prison for lying about losing money, which is what I did. And my pride got in the way of doing the right thing. Because if I had just told my LPs, hey, I screwed up, I lost your money, and I'm sorry, and I'll do what I can over time to make it right, I wouldn't have gone to prison. But I basically made it look like I didn't lose money, and I landed up in prison because I committed fraud. And it was the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. And prison itself was probably the best experience I ever had. I don't know about, okay, I'm going to rephrase that.
Yeah, maybe you want to rephrase.
I don't want to say best experience, but I want to say it was the most important experience. Because it was the first time in my life where I had the opportunity to look inward and figure out what I did wrong that landed me here, right? So it was a great opportunity to look inward and to understand where my weaknesses were at, where my faults were at, and how to never make those mistakes again. So yeah, I was sentenced to 30 months, so 2.5 years, and I got out in a year for good behavior.
How does that work? How does the good behavior stuff work? Like,
So in the U.S. In the BOP system, there is something called FSA. FSA is called, it stands for First Step Act, I think, First Step Act. And you get time credits for every month you're in prison. So you gain roughly 15 days a month just for being there. So if somebody is sentenced to X amount of years or X amount of months, they don't actually do that. So I knew when I was sentenced to 30 months, I was like, okay, I'm not actually going to do 30 months. I'm going to do half that or less. And I did about, 60% 38% of that, 40%. So not so bad. But I learned about myself. I learned about, where I went wrong. And, I want to make right by people that I think I want to keep a relationship with, and ones that I had a relationship with. So I don't want any bad blood with anybody, So I'm trying to get my life back together, I'm working on my own stuff. I still trade some meme coins here and there, but I'm pretty selective. Right now, Robinhood is super hot. I am actually super bullish on Robinhood chain, because they've already kind of captured CT, and they have a massive, tens of millions of users on the retail side that, have had some exposure to crypto, but they haven't had, I think, Coinbase, I think, really fumbled it.
Yeah, I wrote a short thread. It was basically comparing Base to Robinhood chain.
Yeah.
And the main thing is that Coinbase is missing what Robinhood has, which is the entire PVE onboarding retail component, because they already have all of those users from the app trading stocks and other things. Right?
I also
that's
think
the main thing.
I also think that Coinbase is very just from examining them over the years, they're very reactive. They're not very proactive, and I think part of the issue why they had to be very reactive in the early days and have become more proactive lately, but they had to be reactive, is because they are a US-based regulated exchange. So they didn't have the freedom that the offshore exchanges had. So they couldn't introduce new products, new revenue streams to boost their bottom line and their top line. So they had to be very reactive to the regulatory landscape in the US. So they had a huge disadvantage because of that, right? But now that the US is much more crypto friendly, and we have a very crypto friendly president,
At least for now.
they can be a little bit more proactive, at least for now. I love Trump. I know some people have things to say about him, but I think he's great. I voted for him. I'm not allowed to vote anymore right now.
Oh, really? You lost that right?
As a felon, you're not allowed to vote.
Ever? Ever again?
I don't know for
No,
sure.
there's no good behavior?
I don't know. I don't know for sure. But as of right now, I know I cannot vote.
Are you allowed to go and encourage others?
I will always support the right candidate. I actually hope Mark Rubio wins in the next cycle. But no, I think crypto is in a really good spot right now. I do believe we bottomed. And I think one of the key indications of that bottom is like a new chain getting really hot. It reminds me of when Sol just started to get hot back in 2023. So now that all this new liquidity is being created on Robinhood chain, I think that's a key sign that the market is ready for go time. I think we might cool off a bit in September possibly, because that's like just what history says.
Yeah, just summer, yeah.
But I think generally we look really, really good for the next cycle right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you just look traditionally at like the cycles and stuff like that, coming into midterms, Q4 is like generally always the kind of time that by which that time we have like bottomed and we start to curl out of there. So maybe we get a little complacency over summer. Maybe you can argue we need another little flush, whatever it is. But like generally, like even anything you're buying here, like I don't think you're going to be taking that big of a haircut if your time horizon is at least like 1 to 3 years or something like that.
Yeah.
I guess interestingly, like going back to Giga and stuff, like how kind of involved were you? Were you there when it started, or did you join kind of as a community member, as a holder, and then get more involved? Like what was the story there?
I bought Giga for the first time at around I started buying between 1 and 2 million. I wasn't officially a part of the team then, but I saw it and I was like, is this the only GigaChad memecoin there is? And like the people that were tweeting about it just made me laugh. I had never seen them online before, but I was like, these guys make me laugh. And it's GigaChad. So I was like, this is it. Like, this is the one. Like, this is the fucking one.
This was also like way more like during the kind of like CTO meta, where I feel like as long as you were a holder and you could get like connected with the team, if you like could provide value and help out, you kind of like could become like proxy member of the team like pretty easily. Like I did the same thing helping out Retardio like pretty early on, and like that was what was one of like the large communities that allowed us to get a lot of like noise and interest.
Retardio was great.
Around Ox. Retardio was great.
Retardio was great. I think if Retardio wasn't so much on the fringe, that probably would have been, I think the peak for Retardio was like
200, I think.
200.
Maybe 220.
Yeah. So I think if it wasn't so on the fringe, because I think they had issues with exchanges and stuff like that. But I think that would have been, like, it should have been like $500 million or more.
I mean, I think
in that cycle.
I think one of the other main reasons Retardio didn't go as high as Giga or some of the other things was also like that supply element. Like, given I was very close to the team, like I actually like knew how much supply they had and all that kind of stuff. And it was actually like, even the fact it went to 200 mil was like pretty much like very organic, right? Like the team really didn't have much more than like a couple percent supply, like less than 10%, whatever it is, compared to other coins that maybe had like 50, 60, 40,
it's
even
an interesting
more.
thing, because like people like to complain about supply control, right? And it goes both ways. Like there is not there's maybe a few exceptions, but like most of the best performing meme coins, like they have very high supply control, right? So supply control, like in and of itself, is not bad. It's bad if the intentions of the team are bad. It's actually very bullish and good if the intentions of the team are good and they have a very high supply control. Like for Giga, I think the top 4 holders or top 5 holders, which were on the team at the time, including myself, I think we had like just the top 5 of us on the team had like 30-something%.
Yeah, which is already huge, right? Like, that's already insane.
You know, and there were like 12 people on the team, you know. So,
and for $1 billion token, then it's like, yeah.
I actually wish we had, like, we had an opportunity to have more. You know, it is what it is. If we had more, I think we probably would have gone well above $1 billion because we had such a strong holder base. But yeah, I think, you know, and a lot of people gave me shit when it started. Like, you know, you're the GOAT when it's only going up, and then when it starts going down, everybody says you're a scammer and a piece of shit. And, you know, at the end of the day, people, I think, forget that people are in this game to make money. And, like, the truth of the matter is you are holding hot air. Like, you're not, like, if you're owning a meme coin, if you own most stuff in crypto, actually, you're holding hot air.
I mean,
right?
even at $1 billion market cap, like, the liquidity was probably what, like, maybe 50 mil if you were lucky or something.
Our
like
liquidity,
that.
to be honest,
Yours was pretty good. Yours was, yeah.
Ours was a little thin.
I thought it was pretty good, if I remember correctly.
I mean, it was pretty good compared to a lot of them. I think the peak liquidity pool for it was like 15 million. It wasn't that thick,
all right.
You know, so
one-sided or two-sided though?
We had really strong holders, and we were on Coinbase, we were on Bybit. You know, we had a lot of great exchanges that we were on. We were on Kraken, Revolut. You know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So we had a lot of good exchange partners. But, you know, I chose to walk away because things for me were getting hot. Like, everyone knew about my case. Everyone knew this dude's going to prison. For the sake of the project and for the sake of the people that were on the team, it was just better if I remove myself.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, it was hard because, like, I had put so much energy into it, and I really liked the people on the team. And some people like me, some people don't. Like, you know, I always say if everybody likes you, you're doing something wrong. You know, if you want everyone to like you, you're just a people pleaser. So
yeah, you can't make everyone happy. It's like literally impossible.
I read a book in prison called War. Mm-hmm. It was the same guy who wrote 48 Laws of Power.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I don't remember the verse specifically, but like it talked about how you should polarize, because being polarized, like being a polarizing figure means you stand for something, right? Whether people like what you say or don't like what you say, or don't like what you do or like what you do, you stand for your own values, right? So I didn't really care, and still don't care, what people think of me at this point. Like, everybody knows I went to prison. It's not like I didn't kill anybody, you know?
But I think it's funny, like in the day and age of social media, right? Like you have a lot of these guys getting emotional online, and you definitely see more people like fall into the trap of just assuming that like all attention is good attention. There's no such thing as bad publicity, like that kind of a thing. But I mean, what kind of...
There is good and bad attention.
There is. I
had some good attention
that.
And I had some bad attention.
What do you feel like your main, I guess like, you know, reasons are, or like thinking for like coming on something like this and like putting yourself out there again and speaking about this and, you know, I guess like sharing your story in some ways?
I think it's good for people to know me as a person, because I think a lot of people most people on Twitter they see specifically CT, they just see a cartoon PFP, right? And it's really funny because a lot of these people, they say shit online that they would never say to your fucking face.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ever. Like, and I'm just like, you're a fucking pussy, man. Like, I know you are a pussy behind that PFP. Like, so I, for the most part, ignore most of what is said or has been said because it's not really worth my time. I have, great people in my life who know who I am. And there have been people from CT who have met me in person and who do know me. And they know who I really am. So I don't need to be nice to everybody. I don't need to be friends with everybody. Just do what's best for yourself. Do the best you can to be right by people. And learn from your mistakes. Wherever you screw up, just learn. Whether that's losing money, in my case, breaking the law. And like it was funny because some people were like they were like, oh, that's so cool, you're going to prison, like you're a criminal. I'm like, man, it's not that cool, man. I don't want to go to prison and you don't want to go to prison. It's not very cool. But I mean, just to be clear, I was in a prison camp, which is very different from what you see on TV or in shows. I'd say it's closer to the camp than it is prison. It really is that. I mean, you can walk around, you can kind of do what you want, and it was a pretty, like, if you're gonna go to prison, this is where you wanted to go.
Yeah, that's where you'd rather. Did you get prison jacks? They let you
I
work
didn't,
out?
man, because they didn't have any weights. We're not allowed to have weights.
Ah, man. Did they have like bars? Do you like pull-ups and stuff? Or?
Pull-ups, push-ups is pretty much all you can do. Like, it sucked because like I was getting in really good shape, and then like I was like, oh, I lost all my muscle when I was getting in fucking prison. They didn't give you enough protein either. I mean, it's actually on purpose because they don't want you to be strong. They want you to like simmer down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they don't give you.
I never
a lot
thought of it like that. Actually, it's a good point.
No, it's literally on purpose. Before prison, the food was much better than I expected. Obviously,
three meals a day or 2 meals a day? What's the
3
deal?
meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Met a lot of interesting people.
Yeah, I bet that was a lot. I bet that was pretty fun.
I met a lot of white collar guys. I met drug dealers. I met, people who owned a lot of guns. I met a lot of gang members. I met people from the Bloods. I mean, I met
What dictates
all kinds of fucking crazy
What
people.
dictates whether you go to prison camp or prison?
Your points. So because I was a first-time offender, and it was my first fucking crime.
And it's not violent.
It's not violent. Typically, white-collar crimes are also, like, if you're committed with a white-collar crime, 9 out of 10 times you're going to a camp, unless, like, the amount of money that was involved in your case was so much, you might go to a low, which is a step above a camp. It's camp, low, medium, USP, max, supermax. So supermax is where like El Chapo is.
Yep.
Where you're literally in a box, you do not see the light of day, there's no window, you get 1 hour outside a day, you're in your cell 23 hours a day, 365, every day. So at a camp, there's no cells. It's open cubes. So there's no door, you can walk around, you can go to TV room, watch. You can, stay up till however late you want, go watch TV, read. So it was for prison. It was, it was a chill time.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Any like maybe nothing bad happened to you, but did you see anything bad happen to other people in there?
Nothing.
Nothing, not at all.
No, because like at a camp, like people's sentences are short. Like it's not like you're there
And you
with
want to
people.
keep it that way.
Yeah, like it's not like you're there with people with like a life sentence, a 40-year sentence. You're there with people. I didn't meet anyone in there with more than like a 7-8 year sentence. Now there were people in there who were serving longer sentences, but they started out at a security facility,
worked their way down.
and they worked their way down. So there actually were a couple guys that had like 23-year sentences, 18-year sentences, 22-year sentences. But yeah, I met some really cool people.
Any friends
Surprisingly.
for life?
Friends for life?
Any friends for life?
Probably not.
Probably not, all right.
But they're good people.
Do you contact any of them or no? Guys,
I've not been in contact with any of them, no.
All right, that's fair enough, yeah.
No.
It's funny that like you come out, you're now in house arrest, you're doing your thing, but you're like still trading, right? It's like you can take the man out of the meme coin, you can't take the meme coins out of the man.
What I really like right now, and I've been buying it since about 6.2 million, 6.3 million, is PONS. And like, I read a tweet like 3 days ago. Somebody said it's probably not a good thing if the launch pad is the only coin going up.
Yeah, it's like one issue.
Which is actually a really stupid thought process because, NVIDIA is the most valuable AI company because they sell the picks and the shovels, right? So PONS and Pump Fund, they sell the picks and shovels to the casino. So They should be worth the most, actually, because without them, like this whole thing wouldn't be happening, right? So yeah, PONS is, I think
it's like 40.
I think it's like the
50,
second
60.
highest market cap coin now. It actually was number one a few days ago after CashCat. I don't know why CashCat launched a launchpad. That's really weird.
Yep.
I don't know why they did that.
And then now there was a weird pipe dog thing.
I like
that went 60
Tendies,
mil.
actually.
Yeah, Tendies is
Of
cool.
all of the meme coins on Robinhood, Tendies is one of the best I've seen. And I think Tendies is that touches Wall Street bets, that touches retail big time. Over CashCat, in my opinion. But yeah, the only thing I own on Robinhood right now is PONS. So I think if you're just making a bet that Robinhood chain is going to explode at the same scale that Pump Fund did, it's an easy bet. You don't have to think about it.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
Very easy, right? And what? Pump Fund is a $700 million market cap. PONS is a 30. You're looking at an easy 20x if you're assuming that they're going to have the same scale and ubiquity that Pump Fund has for Sol.
Mm-hmm. Also Pump Fund, like, even on Pump Fund, Pump itself is the biggest token by, Ansem kind of got close when it got to like 400 mil and Pump was at 500-600 or whatever it is that he's like circulating.
Still waiting for my airdrop, Ansem.
Yeah. maybe he'll see this. You got to have even felons should hold Ansem, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like it's a part of the game, right? Like, yeah, I agree. Like the picks and shovels at the end of the day, like, are the most valuable thing. Like, we're here to like trade and narrative trade between all these meme coins. Tendies was one that I kind of like faded at first because, to be honest, like I was never really in the whole Wall Street bets community kind of thing. So honestly, I didn't really even understand the meme at first, but like the proposition is definitely there. And it seems like the Wall Street Bets guys like it and want to interact with it. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But I mean, yeah, cash cow was interesting. What in terms of like other money that you have, like if you have any money on chain, like what do you do with it? Are you buying Bitcoin? Are you farming yield somewhere? Are you
Before
got
prison,
anything
I
else?
mean, most of my money was, I had to basically park most of my money in USDC and Bitcoin. Obviously, the Bitcoin went. I think when I went into prison, Bitcoin was 106, and then I got out, it was 60. I was like, well, fuck.
Guess we're holding until next cycle.
Yeah, but no, I think that, I mean, I hope I got out at the bottom. I think it is the bottom. But yeah, I didn't put a lot of money in other things. The only thing, the only meme coin that I actually held on Solana that was in one of my wallets was Neat.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Neat
That's
is
a very good one.
great. Neat is the most, in my opinion, the most undervalued coin on Solana.
Yeah, I completely agree.
By like orders of magnitude. I think they have an excellent team, great guys. I speak with one of them actually pretty frequently. And that one, I think and I think this is kind of hard because like all the hype and the liquidity is kind of concentrated in Robinhood right now. So when people are looking for new runners or new things to trade, they're automatically going to Robinhood now. They're not going to Solana. Like every now and then you'll have the sole runner like fucking Jimothy. I don't know how I feel about Jimothy. It's very hard for me to believe that goes. I could be totally wrong. I don't really care. But like they already, like think about what you're buying and trading when you're trafficking in meme coins. You're trading attention. You're buying attention. So it's like they have attention from fucking the White House and this news channel and that news channel and this guy and that guy. This, it's like, and it went to 40. So it's like, how much more attention is it going to get to justify the price going to a new high? I hope it does for the sake of whoever's still holding it. I can't buy it because it's like, I can't rationalize it in my head. It's like, it's another hyped up, viral animal. And we had like 5 of them this year. And I think the most successful one was the penguin.
Yep.
That went to 180 or something, right?
Yeah, 180, 200.
Right. So it's like, but it went straight there, right? Like this topped out at 40. And what was the monkey? There was a monkey.
Punch.
And
Punch was like, again, like that was like a fifth or a third of penguin, right?
Right.
Like to be honest, actually, if you look at Jimothy right now, like it looks almost exactly like Punch, pretty much.
Yeah. So it's just like, I can't justify buying something that I know. So there's something called structural attention and cyclical attention, right? Structural attention is like Pepe, like Doge, even Giga Chad. But I think the price is not looking so great right now, unfortunately. But those types of memes are structural attention because they were huge for a long period of time before they became meme coins, right? So most meme coins are actually cyclical attention, meaning like the chart is like this, as opposed to a slower grind up and like it plateaus wild and it has a new leg. So I think shit like that, like Jimothy, Punch, all that, that's cyclical attention, but it goes super viral that the price reflects that virality, that mass attention.
I think Mudeng was another very good example of that.
Yes, and that went to 700. That was 2024.
Yep.
If it was 2024, yeah, fucking Penguin might have gone to $1 billion. Jimothy might have gone to 400. I don't know, might have gone to 400. But it's just a different it's a different environment now because there's supply exhaustion. I think people are just not willing to hold for that long, right? And it's very hard to build like a cult-like community around just a viral animal.
Yep.
Right? Like it has to stand for something more.
But I think it's
it to be a cult.
It's also like that supply control element, right? Because even Mudeng, funnily enough, like I do these interviews from time to time, right? Whenever I feel like there's someone good to do it with.
Yeah.
And one of the first ones I ever did, before I even started doing it hard this year, back when I was still at Ox, was with a guy called Raul, who held basically 5% of Mudeng that he'd bought sub like 2 mil. So
really?
Yeah. So he hit like some crazy rotations from, remember that like Costco hot dog coin that did really well?
Yeah, I remember
then
that.
He hit
Beginning
Aura.
of 24. Yeah.
Then he hit Aura Cat or something like that. Then it was like, I think there's maybe one or two others, and then he hit Mudeng basically. And he had so much of this coin, 5% of a coin that goes to 800 mil, whatever it is, when the LP is probably, a tenth of that if you're lucky, like probably even less, right?
Right.
And so like, it kind of got to the point where he was the one actually paying for the exchange listings out of his own supply because
you have to.
Yeah, you have to, because otherwise, a dollar worth of something is better than a dollar worth of nothing, right? Like at the end of the day, like if you can never sell this supply into a venue because the LP is definitely not going to fucking support it,
right,
you're never going to get out of this token. So you'd rather have, give away 1% and then your remaining percentage is actually worth something you can sell versus 5% of like hot air, basically, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was like a big component as well. Versus like, I feel like now, if you're cooling it as you do, and to be honest, I agree. I think it's a good way to put it, right? Like these like shorter attention style markets, they're cyclical and they're arguably much more organic, which is causing them to therefore be a subject of just like this general like attention in the market, and
right,
people want to take profits, people want to move on to the next shiny thing. If Robinhood is vamping all of Sol, then everything on Sol is going to suffer.
Yeah, I mean, also just like, people got smarter, right? And you mentioned the issue with the LP, like if you own 5% of a coin on Solana or most chains, right? Let's say the coin goes to $1 billion, right? You have $50 million of that coin. You're not getting anywhere close to that out. Even if you structure an OTC transaction with a market maker or an exchange, you're lucky to get half that out. You're lucky, right?
Plus slippage, even if you sell into the LP.
I mean, the slippage alone, like, in order to get $50 million out, you have to assume that every sell is absorbed by buys, which is just, it's not reality. But, so people, if they buy 1% of a coin at 100K and it goes to 10 million, right? You have 100K, most people are like, fuck it. Like I made 100K off fucking $1,000. I'm out. I mean, they're not going to be like, yeah, this is going to 100 million. I'm going to make.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Like I see so many guys on the timeline and just like generally in the trenches that, they still have this kind of like old mentality around what these coins can potentially go to. And so they will just like genuinely round trip multi 6 figures or even 7 figures.
We've all been there.
We've all been there, but it's like I always had, like my saying is always, the man who will hold for 100x is the same man who will not sell for 100x, right? Because he thinks it's going to go to 200x, 300. Like the same thing that got him to holding such an insane multiple without taking profits is the same reason why he will kind of like never find a point to actually sell it, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have a rule in place before almost you take that trade, or a number in your mind that you need to take out, or your dollar cost averaging out in some way, you just it's never gonna happen.
My rule is I start looking at like the next really expensive apartment I want to live in. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to my fan wallets now.
Yeah, but
and start selling.
That's if anyone who's watches the Matchy interviews I did, like that was kind of the issue he had, where he has this like crazy like 20 mil plus house in LA. He's got great places in Taiwan as well, and then he started shopping for other apartments, and so he was up I believe like 40 or 45 mil on his Hyperliquid wallet. At one point, he ran up from basically maybe 1 mil or something like that over a few months.
Yep.
And he was like, if I can just get to 60 mil, then I can buy, like these two crazy 30 mil, like one 30 mil Playboy mansion and one like 20, 30 mil like crazy penthouse apartment in LA.
Yeah.
And then I'll be done.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to go from plus 45 to minus 30. So, you know.
It happens to the best of them, you know? And like, my biggest fumble, I mean, this wasn't around yet. Actually, my biggest fumble was by far Popcat.
Interesting.
I bought 4% of Popcat at 70K.
4%? Oh my god.
I bought 4% of Popcat at 70K.
Oh my god.
And I started selling it between 7 and 8 million. And I thought, wow, it was a great trade.
You're like, damn, I'm the
I'm
goat.
a fucking genius, man. And this was early 24.
Yep.
And lo and behold, that went to what, 2.1 billion? So that was by far my biggest fumble for sure.
Were you ever tempted to go back in?
No, I was just like, I'm not gonna look at this now. I had enough Giga, and I loved Mog. That was a great one too.
Mog was a great cook.
Mog
yeah.
was great. I just think this cycle, it's really hard to pinpoint like what is gonna, because I think for people to, I guess, believe it. So like, why did people believe so much last cycle? Because the first two big soul meme coins were
Whiff.
Bonk and Whiff. I mean, Bonk is not really a meme coin anymore, but like initially it sort of was.
Initially, it was just a meme coin.
Just a meme.
Kind of soul foundation-y ties and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was sort of like a VC funded thing, but that was like the first big meme coin on Solana. It teleported to 1 billion, and then you had Whiff that went to 5 billion, right? So it's like, that's what created that belief that if you find the right one, shit, it's gonna go to 2 billion, it's gonna go to 3, it's gonna go to 4, it's gonna go to 5, it's gonna go to 10, right? So what has to happen is like, you know, if we're saying, or if I think that Robinhood chain is the one this cycle, which I think it is, I think it'll be a battle between Sol and Robinhood, but I think the next big $1 billion meme coin would probably come from Robinhood, right? But that's what you need. You need a big fucking rocket launcher of a coin to go to 1 billion or 2 billion in a short amount of time.
To show that it's possible.
To show like, oh my God, it's possible again. So all these ones I like, which one has that potential? So until that happens, again, we're stuck in this liquidity hot potato.
What do you think?
That's my.
What do you think about Ansem?
Which is fine if you hold something like PONS or something like Pump, right? Because it's like, you know, volume is going to explode. Their fees are going to explode. On a revenue multiple, PONS is trading at 0.5 times revenue. Like, it's so cheap. I mean, they're spitting money, more and more money every fucking day. So that's just an easy bet. But so I don't even like feel like I need to look for like, oh, what's gonna be the fucking one. But bottom line, you need the big $1 billion runner to on Robinhood or
to pave the way.
To pave the way for the belief cycle to begin again. Then you'll get more 300, 400, 500 billion dollar coins that people really believe in. But the big takeaway that I've had so far since I've been back in the last 3 weeks is like, remember I was mentioning that there's 2 games you can play, right? And it makes more sense to play game 1, but it's hard to play game 1. It's hard to play both. Which is why it's easier to bet on something like PONS or Pump, because they just benefit from the game. So it's easier to sell the tickets to the game than to play the game. So I'd rather buy the guy who's selling the tickets than to buy the people playing the game. Because if you're buying a meme coin, what are you really buying? People are like, yo, you're buying a meme, it's OG, it's this. No, you're buying the people. That's the only value, that's the only actual asset a meme coin has is the people.
What do you think about something like Ansem then? Which is basically like, it's like the OG, like
You're buying Ansem.
pieces of a people coin, right?
I think Ansem is bullish because you're buying the biggest crypto influencer in the world.
Plus market bubble.
Plus,
You're getting Banks as beta.
exactly.
You might get FaZe as beta.
Right, so it's like you are buying the guy who has the most attention in crypto. I don't own any Ansem. I gave you a shout out, so I hope you.
Airdrop waiting.
I'm kidding. If you're buying attention purely, if you're buying Ansem, you are buying the guy that gets the most attention in crypto. And that's Ansem. So with that thesis alone, yeah, it's bullish. It could go to, I mean, listen, he's saying whiff to 5 billion. I don't see why this can't go to 5 billion. Why
It's
not?
a good point. Yeah, you talk about paving the way. Like,
Why not?
he literally was the main guy behind Whiff.
He was the guy. He was Whiff. That's how he got his name. You know? So I think Ansem is very bullish. I just, I don't know when it's going to have that parabolic run. I'm sure, he's speaking to exchanges now and getting perps lined up in more big exchanges. So I think once that gets rolling more.
And talk about supply control as well. He's got 60%.
65%.
Yeah, I think he's given away. I think now he's maybe got 58. Or so. I built like a whole dashboard that shows it a little bit.
10%, 20% away.
I think less. I think he's actually only given away like 7 or 8%, something like that. He's shifted from giving away so much supply. He's more so giving away soul now, actually.
I think that's smart because if he wants it to reach the market cap that he's probably thinking about and that a lot of people are probably thinking about, it's probably better for him to keep that supply control. I mean, he's making something crazy like $1 million a week off the creator fees or some shit.
Probably not as much right now because the volume's lower, but
like
at least at one point he's at least made $1 to $2 million on fees alone. Yeah,
just the fees, right? So it's like, and that's still accruing, and he has other stuff going on. So it's like he doesn't need to sell it, right? So it's better for him and for the holders if he just retains the supply control. It makes sense. So yeah, I think Ansem does very well. I think that could be the big one on Sol this cycle. I just don't know what it could be for Robinhood yet.
Yeah, I think it's too early to say right now. Right?
I think Tendies is a dark horse because of the reach that it has with the Wall Street bets community and retail. I think that's a dark horse.
It also kind of goes hand in hand with the whole GME Robinhood side of things as well. So
I think what's cool is like they're also combining stock pairs with meme coins.
Yeah, we're seeing more of that now.
So there's this RWA component with meme coins now, which technically should make the coin less volatile. So maybe that attracts a wider set of traders and holders because
it's not necessarily less volatile. All it means is that the price of the coin...
Technically, it should be less volatile, but it's not.
It depends though, because like compared to ETH, compared to basing your coin in ETH, perhaps, but now you're at the mercy of what the stock does as the basis. Like this was the whole thing with Ox, right? It's like Quanto-derived contracts where basically, let's say it's paired with like NVIDIA, right? If NVIDIA goes up 2x, then now the coin does twice as well. But if NVIDIA goes down 50%, the coin also suffers 50% in terms of like rebalancing in the LP.
Right.
So like I don't know if I would necessarily argue that, but like it's definitely interesting in terms of like use case adoption and kind of like shifting meme coins from being something that kind of mean nothing to something that is a part of or piggybacking off something which is like the entire stock market.
I think it might be an excuse to make meme coins seem like they have more intrinsic value than they actually do.
It might, you know
But,
what? You know what I think would be cooler would be if it was paired with like an index as opposed to a single stock. That could be cooler. Just
You
to
know what would
balance
be
it
cool?
out.
Like
Someone
an
should do that.
SPX, like an SPX,
Yeah, yeah,
SPX
yeah.
pair.
Oh, we're running it back. We're running it back.
We're running it back.
What's next?
I don't think that Murad's gonna like that. As
No, he's not gonna like.
He's not
I mean,
gonna like that.
he might love that actually. I mean, what's kind of next? Like any plans you want to talk about or anything you want to kind of like share closing off?
I am working on something, but I'm keeping it pretty quiet. It's tech actually. It's not
Real tech,
real tech.
not just a meme coin.
It's a real tech. And that's been my primary focus since I got out. And I guess people will see what it is in a month or two.
Very cool.
But yeah, I've wanted to keep that pretty close to the chest. I don't want people. I'm already online. I don't need people to know more of my business. I've already had enough good attention, bad attention. I don't need more attention
Well, maybe
right now.
people see this and you're building something cool. When you release it, maybe you'll have some people get in touch, try to get involved.
I mean, I think people will like it. I think it serves both meme and utility projects as well. So it's not just levered to memes. Also just the last thing, like I think a lot of utility stuff will happen on Robinhood as well, because
EVM makes that easier in many
Yes.
ways as well, right?
yes. So, like, I think they're trying to attract not just pure degen. They're trying to attract like people who want to buy real stuff. So they have a much broader universe to work with versus Sol, because the perception of Sol now is like it's just pure like degen shit, ruggers. I mean, there's rugs everywhere, but that's just like the general consensus with Sol now. It's like fuck Sol, like I'm on Robinhood, and yeah, we'll see what happens, bro.
Awesome. I mean, I hope this is something that people enjoy and it's like a unique interview. And I think it's very cool that you came on and open to chat about everything. So thank you very much.
Anytime, bro. My man.
Awesome.